and welcome to the Amplifying Scientific Innovation video podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Sophia Onoye, founder and CEO of the Sophia Consulting Firm, a life science marketing and communications consultancy that was established in New York City with the goal of amplifying scientific innovation. The goal of this podcast is to showcase scientific innovation stemming from global life science companies through conversations with senior leaders who share their unique leadership journey, corporate vision, and industry outlook. My guest today is Miss Mary Carbajal, founder and CEO of B1OS, a health technology company that is building blockchain solutions, converging human and technology to address real-world challenges. Mary is a global transformational leader and entrepreneur with a passion for developing trusted customer, partner, and employee relationships while making a broad impact in business. Her extensive real-world experience include roles of increasing responsibility in strategy, consulting, large-scale program development, delivery, implementation, and management across a variety of industries. Moreover, Mary has built and led global teams, driving delivery and operational excellence, agility, and customer centricity. Her technology experience includes blockchain, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, in addition to cloud computing, Internet of Things, large-scale product and software development to penetrate business processes, understand business challenges, and work collaboratively to design quality IT solutions that deliver value. Mary is an active community volunteer for nonprofit organizations and global philanthropist that is passionate about women's rights and advocates especially for underserved children all around the world. Mary and I connected on LinkedIn through our mutual passion for scientific innovation and entrepreneurship as fellow women in the highly dynamic STEM field. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Thank you for inviting me, Sophia. I've been following all the great work that you've been doing and creating this platform of knowledge, right? It's very refreshing.
Yes.
I've had learned some valuable pearls of wisdom, so it's a pleasure.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. And I've always believed that knowledge is power. And so what I hope we can get from our session today is to empower people with the beautiful knowledge that you have. So we're going to go ahead and get started with what I might think it's my favorite question. It actually is. And that is, what is your definition of scientific innovation?
Yeah, great question. Great question. You know, I really spent a little bit of time thinking through this because I'm a technologist at heart, right? So my background is really from technology. And for me, you know, life science and innovation is really all about the continuum of change, right? With the human touch. Yeah. So it's that continuum of change with a human touch. And whether it's something that we're creating that's new or whether we are evolving the existing along the way, we must ask ourselves always, are we improving humanity and are we doing it for everyone? Because innovation for the sake of something new is just not valuable by itself.
Absolutely. I think it comes down to impact. So thank you for highlighting that. So from our previous conversation, I understand that you grew up in Louisiana and you currently live in India. So how has your multicultural background and experience helped to shape your leadership mantra and your interest in health equity and access?
Yeah. It's been an incredible journey. I am so incredibly blessed and live with such a heart filled with gratitude always. You know, I'm adopted. And so I'm this little European descent, right, from New York that is stereotypically considered to be a Caucasian child, right? And I was adopted by an African-American family in Louisiana, in the Deep South, right?
Wow.
Again, that day considered to be a Black family, right? And so I'm gonna speak from how I grew up and how it really affected and caused such a powerful and positive impact for me. So for me, you know, growing up, I always had to try to figure out kind of where do I belong, right? You know, you're this child that fits in that's in a family, but yet you're very different from that family, right? And so you had your own challenges in these kind of complex family dynamics, if you will, right? And then growing up through that school life side of things, you didn't exactly fit in and represent the typical Caucasian child where you were growing up in the Deep South, right? And so it came with its set of I think the teasing, the derogatory remarks, and just the challenges of people kind of telling you didn't really fit in, right, and you didn't really belong, and so that really took me and it gave me actually an opportunity to truly kind of go deep in myself. I lived very internally when I was younger growing up. You know, my mother was a very devout woman of God. And so I really took the opportunity to kind of turn to my faith and figure out, you know, there's got to be a better way, right? There's just got to be a better way. And really always looked forward to a positive future. And what could I do to impact the lives of others in a very positive way, especially the lives of children? Yeah, that was always very important to me. And as it relates to my leadership mantra, you know, I'm one of those people that I strongly believe in treating others as you wish to be treated. And for me, I was in such a state for such a long time of learning how to live comfortably in uncomfortable situations. I think that's a very key part of leadership, right? And to be able to kind of hold your own and always look for the most powerful, impactful way you can cause change, right? No matter what the circumstance. So that's kind of how I lived my life. Yeah.
I think that is powerful. And what I love about your story is just how you learned to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And growing up and facing such adversity, I think that there's something empathetic about you that wants to make the world easier for other people, especially children. So thank you for sharing that story. It's a powerful one.
Yeah.
So my next question for you is, what would you consider to be your most impactful professional accomplishment to date?
Yeah, I think my most impactful professional accomplishment is BIOS, right? My entire career, I've always pretty much worked for another country, another company. I had a short time I worked for myself back in doing some consulting in my earlier days. But this is the first time I really decided to take a leap of faith, right? And kind of put everything on the line and kind of use up all that great courage that I've been blessed to acquire all these years, and all that great knowledge that I've acquired all these years throughout living in the corporate world. I've been very blessed. I've traveled over 50 countries in the globe, worked through 50 countries and lived in 7. And I've had a great opportunity to kind of meet people where they are in life and learn a lot about people and culture and whatnot. And so for me, the greatest accomplishment from a professional perspective is now building BIOS and building a platform where, number one, I think it's going to save many lives. And so therefore it really touches that human part I talked about earlier. And that's really our mission. And the impact we really want to have is to restore hope. Yeah, one of the biggest things we want to do is use a lot of the revenue that we get from the company, we'll put into building what I call little Sisu cities, if you will, right? And these are just communities of education and medical advancement in very underserved parts of the world.
Again, thank you for sharing that remarkable story. I'm quite pleased about what you're doing at BIOS, and that makes me even more curious to find out what else we could learn from you about the great work at BIOS. So can you provide a top-line overview of your pioneering work at BIOS to build the world's first truly global health information solution platform?
Absolutely, great. So such an exciting question. I always can fall out of my skin when I start talking about this. You know, so Sophia, I'll start from kind of the opportunity that we have to solve, right, and to create. So for me, I think that our medical records and our health information doesn't travel across the street, much less across the state or across the country, right? And as a globetrotter, what I've recognized is that it's very difficult to be able to get access and ownership of your own medical records, right? And so why did I start this? I took care of my mother for a very long time, and my mother was a type 1 diabetic. And so people said, what in the world caused you to go in that direction from the technology space that you were in? And for me, it's all about when I cared for her. I mean, the numerous prescriptions she had, right? The doctor's appointments we had to go to, the surgery she had, everything culminated into this massive amount of data that I almost couldn't even keep in my mind anymore, right? It was just too much. I had to actually put an Excel spreadsheet together. And so it came to that point of, I thought, well, how do I manage to bring something that could actually benefit people in multiple ways? And that is, number one, you go to the doctor and you fill out quite a few different pieces of paper today, right? And so just like I did with my mother, how do we bypass that product, that step, and not have to actually go through all of that anymore, and create a platform, number one, that could have all your critical health information in place, and you could share that information with whom you deem is a trusted contact, your professional, your medical professionals that you trust to take care of your health, hospitals, as well as your own personal trusted contacts. And so the first part of BIOS is what's called the BIOS Health Pass. And it actually gives that opportunity to kind of take that paper process and put it all online. It's HIPAA compliant, it's GDPR ready. And so you can kind of bypass that. Doctors and hospitals all over the globe can register at no cost and come in, and then you can share that information with whom you wish. And it also encompasses a COVID piece, right? So we did take a bit of a pivot because of COVID this past year, and we added a QR code, and that QR code encompasses, your test results, an actual self-reporting form as well to keep on top of, and as well now vaccinations, right? So all of that's included, and you have a QR code. You hear a lot of companies talking about this passport for health now, right? We've built it since March, and we've been refining it, and we even include the ability to connect any ticket you have to the health pass that you have, right? So whether you're going to the cinema, whether you're going to a theater, a sporting event, hopefully in the near future, or even an airline ticket. Yeah, that's the first part. Second part is the full stack, and that just includes everything I spoke of, as well as a few key components, which is an online appointment system and payment system. We allow you to connect IoT and wearables, and we allow telepresence, of course, for virtual care, along with a whole slew of other bells and whistles. So those are the key components. And we do this at a global scale, because now you have access to that data and you can share that data wherever you're at in the world.
Wow, I love that. I think that the possibilities that we can have in empowering patients all over the world with their data and educating them about why knowledge of their data is even more important, right? And I'm just curious, you had mentioned GDPR earlier. What exactly is that, and why is that important from a data privacy and security perspective?
Sure. GDPR is the equivalent of HIPAA, right, in Europe. And so we have HIPAA in the States and GDPR is in Europe, although many countries across Asia-Pac as well is now starting to adopt. And the point with GDPR, which is basically it's the ability, it's a general data privacy policy, right? And so it allows you to be forgotten, so to speak, right? So, and it doesn't just adhere itself to medical, it adheres itself to any corporate world, right? So how do you ensure that people's very private, specific data to them, personal data, number one, is protected, and number two, can be gotten rid of, right? And deleted, and permanently deleted, right? And so there's a lot of records that hang around in companies or in medical professionals, in the medical professional world, probably for way too long. And so how do we make sure that people's data is number one, protected, and that we can actually delete that data according to regulations of those particular countries and regions?
Oh, that's wonderful. I like that you have this sort of global view about anything that you do, whether it's personal or professional. And in my head, I call you a global citizen. And this is based on, of course, of previous discussions that we've had. So you shared how much you love living in India. Actually, I think you're in India right now. So can you share more about your love for India and how it ties into BIOS's mission?
Oh, I love that. I've been working in India off and on for the last little over 10 years now. And probably, if you ask me, the most important thing is the food is amazing. Oh my God. And the people are amazing, right? And so for me, a little humor there, but for me, obviously, the heart of the people is incredible, right? And so very hardworking people here in India, right? You know, Sophia, you well know also, right? You come from that place. You come from a country that where you have to work very, very hard, very, very hard. There are some countries in the world where the emergency economies are there, and you just have to the segmentation, if you will, of people, right, across the country.
Yeah.
People work very hard, and people are willing to help you no matter what situation might occur, right? And so I love that about India. And India is such an incredibly diverse country, right? There's many languages, there's many cultures, of course there's many faiths here, and so the diversity of the country is beautiful because you know, we think of corporate world and we think of diversity, right? And we think of D&I. And I always say that there's an A missing from D&I, right? And so there's diversity, inclusion, but there's also the acceptance piece, right? And the ability to accept people. And I think India has had, while it's had its own struggles earlier in the day, where they are today, it's just an incredible country. People accept you, you know. I walk around as a Westerner here, but people, you know, they look at you, they smile, they talk to you, you need help, whatever. And it's just a beautiful environment to learn patience and to just, and to learn more about just people and culture in general. And I love that.
I love the acceptance piece. I was born in Nigeria, as you know, and I think that while we appreciate the diversity of thought that we can bring, and of course the low operational costs that often come with doing business in developing countries, we still have to get to a point where the brilliance that these countries have to offer in terms of intellectual capital is also accepted. So thank you for making that point. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you know, can I add one more point to that?
Of course.
I want to bring BIOS right back into it, you know, because we're talking to some incredible people here in India. You know, we're trying to get it, of course, in clinics and government hospitals. You know, in India, of course, many people go to the hospital whether they have a cold or whether they have a broken arm. You know, and so they're now starting to build these little triage centers, and we're working to see what we can do to manage to help them. And as well as a lot of those triage centers around across many countries in Africa, we're doing that as well. And for me, you know, one of the most important things that come with learning more about your health is actually being educated in, you know, okay, my blood type is O positive. Well, what does that really mean?
Right.
I've got these 5 prescriptions I have to take, but what does that really mean? Okay, so these are the side effects, and they may interact adversely even with maybe supplements I'm taking, whatever the case might be, right? And so we are working very diligently in BIOS to make sure that we cover 3 main focus areas, which is health information, health communication, and health education, right? And so we want to be able to deliver a very personal experience to you based on your needs, your conditions, and we're going to do all of that through AI, of course. And yeah, I'm really excited about bringing that education level to people. That kind of sets us apart as well from a lot of the other folks that are out there doing this.
Great. Diversity, inclusion, acceptance, education, and empowering. I mean, gosh, like what else could we ask for? So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your perspective. So as we close, I always want to give the floor to my guests so they can share any final comments or thoughts. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do actually. You know, kind of on a personal note, I really think that I'd love to just encourage individuals and organizations interested in joining our early adoption program, right? You can visit our website at B1OS.life. We're getting ready to go into kind of early adoption here. Send us a message through the Reach Us page. And we look forward to chatting with you. Yeah, whether you're a medical institution, an educational institution, doctors, part of the government in your country, we're excited about sharing some time with you. Yeah. To everyone out there, I really just encourage you to stay strong and to stay focused on your health. Right, our life matters, and you know, regardless of race, gender beliefs, wherever you are in life, whatever you're going through, you're not alone, right? And I think that's the most important thing to think of. This has been a very difficult year, right? And for those people who have really struggled through these challenging times, I just encourage them to reach out to someone that they trust and to get the support that they need, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's lastly, you know, don't lose your own voice. Yeah, I think there's just been such incredible noise in the system, if you will, especially over this last year. So I really encourage people, don't lose your voice and don't lose your own truth amidst all of the noise and challenges that we've been through. It's at times it's very hard to breathe in this kind of social, racial, economic, and political atmosphere that we've experienced, especially in the United States this past year, right? And so all I say is it's just words of encouragement. You know, speak kindly to yourself, speak kindly to others, and think for yourself. Be mindful and conscious of your words. Especially to ourselves, because I think, you know, when we meet other people, we never know where they're at in life. And so having that ability to live with kindness and courage in the forefront of everything we do is very important. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the brilliant advice. I think regardless of how much adversity that we face as global citizens, we have to keep hope alive. So I appreciate your wisdom and your counsel. And obviously, I'm absolutely looking forward to staying connected, and hopefully we can bring you back on the show in the near future.
Look forward to it. Thank you for your time. It's been a blessing to share some time with you.
Same here. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.